Hey everyone, I'm Lamont Gilchrist. www.lgfitnessmessiah is my webpage. Lamont Gilchrist, all caps, on Instagram. LG Get in Shape on Twitter. Today's video is based on my post that I posted earlier about steps to health and how to get healthy. But before we get into a little bit of the explanation of the post, I'm going to give a little bit of information, a little bit of background as to my thought process in creating my page, doing these videos, and all the other aspects outside of that. This is my profession as a personal trainer, and I'm putting out information to my constituents or my viewing audience so that they can see the credibility or the amount of work or the dedication that I have to my craft and my practice. I've been doing this for a long time. I was anointed and born into this as an athlete. Genetically is what saved my life. Athletics saved me. Shout out to my old track coach Fred and Jimmy Smith. My first start going to national. Ralph Faulkner, my young time best friend, and what I grew up in, my grandparents and my aunt and my family that pushed me into athletics. Athletics has saved a lot of us in the inner city, just black kids in general, from the professional athletes to the ones that play in schools, so you didn't get in trouble after school, to team sports, helping you to deal with others, to individual sports, teaching you intestinal fortitude like wrestling, track. So I'm entrenched in this because this is a lifestyle. This is what I love. This is the way that I grew up. This has taught me so much. It's so close to being a warrior. That's why I continue to do it at the age of 43, about to be 44 to this day. Now, for a lot of people who did not grow up this particular way, it is foreign to them. So when you are making these changes to get in shape and you are not an ex-athlete or you didn't compete on a junior high, national, junior national level, it is a lot harder to understand the pain, the intestinal fortitude, the dedication, the time in and time out of certain situations to manipulate or to improve your health or your appearance or your performance or your quality of life, if you are lucky enough to stretch it out and to be able to affect that to that degree. Once again, I'm showing you the lines between athletics and why people train and how people train as athletes to in general training. For my athletes who are on this side of the line, a lot of the times when we stop our respective sport, we gain weight, we get out of shape, particular things happen for a few reasons, because we get older, but because we still have some of the practices that we had when we were in athletics. And they may not have been the healthiest if we weren't taught health cues or healthy ways of sustaining our health, our body, other than getting ice and the electric stim and the other things. To my people who are not athletes, it has probably always been a genetic, it was a luck of the draw. And it's true. If you had good genetics, if you were ecto, if you were meso and you weren't endo, and if your family by chance had some type of knowledge of how to eat halfway healthy, you had a pretty good shot of being in somewhat good physical looking condition and maybe in physical condition in general. not to the level of the athlete, but not so bad as to someone that never did anything with bad genetics and everything else like that. Which brings me to the point, there are people who play athletics that don't have good genetics, that are not genetically gifted. So genetics is a barrier that people have to cross over, both sides, that will dictate the shape of your muscles, the ecto, the way my posture going, if you're a good bodybuilder, if you're a good sprinter, gymnast, swimmer, basketball player. 5'2" people do not do well in the NBA. Genetics. So genetic is a barrier that people have to cross over, so we cannot eliminate it. It is what makes us human, Homo sapien. And there's a lot of other different things in genetics that affect the way that your body absorbs carbohydrates, wheat. So genetics is a huge barrier, and there's always research and testing being done on a daily basis on genetics. But with the elimination of genetics, like I said, there's people with bad genetics that have done well in sports almost, and probably have made it to the professional level without the greatest genetics. Because there is something inside a person that people cannot measure, and that's the intestinal fortitude and the determination and the will to influence their life the way that they see fit for their life to be influenced. That's something that the greatest athlete, the genetically gifted athlete, the common man, the regular person can have and can sustain and can use as a driving force to whatever it is that they want to accomplish. Intestinal fortitude, the ability to bunker down and go through the unknown, the changes of the unknown to reach your goal, is what great men, women, people in general have done to create change for civilizations, for the masses. If the biggest one, from biblical story, it would be Yeshua. The things that he challenged, the things that he brought, not to offset what was already going on, but to enlighten and bring humanity understanding from a humanity standpoint to the laws and everything else, was invoking change, challenging change. And it affects us to this day. So it can be one person, it could be, a group of people, it could be a civilization. But that's how civilizations, and that's how people, and that's how communities and people evolve. And in a exercising, eating, getting in shape standpoint, that is so true in all categories, from your family to your community to your state to your, it expands. So the better understanding, the better information, the more discipline, the more structure you have, the better chance, not just only you as a person that's doing it, but the people around you have a chance to do it and to be better. People will be like, that be around me a lot, they be like, man, I've just been getting healthy and I've been losing weight just because I'm around you. That is very true. Because when you see someone doing something all the time, but they're not pestering you about doing it, they're just doing it and leading by example, either you'll say, that person seems to be doing very well. I wonder what it is they're doing, and I'm going to mimic that, which is a compliment, and then you get the benefits of it. Or either you're going to ignore it and continue to do your own thing. But when someone's forcing something upon you, or trying to force a change upon you, or forcing particular things upon you, or force feeding you to do these particular things, you may do it under pressure, or you may not do it. But it doesn't necessarily have to stick, because it isn't something that you feel like you chose to do. And that's the same thing with exercising, eating, changing habits. That's the difference, once again, between regular people and athletes and the paths that we take. Us athletes and people who have been athletics, we understand doing things that don't seem rational, like running 50 hills or running up this in the wintertime. And it may not be rational, but it teaches something. That's something that regular people normally don't do from a physical aspect. So that's why they can't understand the pushing or the lifting or the clinking of the weights on a day-to-day basis and things like that. Which you don't have to do that. To be in shape or to get in shape do not mean you have to be an athlete or an elite shape, or vice versa. An athlete don't have to fall all the way off because they're not an elite athlete or they are no longer practicing in their respective craft. You can always have some level of being in shape. I use it as a day-to-day measuring stick. I don't do what I did when I was 20 or 19 or whatever age, but at this age, I am elite. At my next age, I will be elite. At 100, if I live to that, I will be elite at 100. Not compared to probably a 20-year-old, but compared to whoever it is. But for my age, for the respective growth, for the respective time that I've been here or plan to be here, I plan to be elite, and not elite in comparison to someone else. Elite, what I was born to be as an athlete, and practicing my craft and practicing my discipline of working hard, doing the things and pushing myself. That's my journey. Everyone has their own particular journey, and in whatever respects it is that take you down that path, I wish you well. But the thing about journeys and the things about going through the desert or charting out places or destinations that are not yet seen or that are not yet, you have not yet reached, is that if you do not have a direction, a plan, a direct route, the proper equipment, the proper guide, able to make sure you can physically, mentally, and spiritually go through that desert, that ocean, that mountain over, then a lot of people get lost and die in the middle of the desert, in the ocean, on a mountain. And that's the reality of this health and this lifestyle change and journey. You have your life to get it right and to try to make and reach those destinations. But if you don't, you will suffer the consequences of whatever it is that the environment that you created for yourself. Be it, that's what cancers, diabetes, and other things that are not genetically inherited, but that are inherited through traditional eating and the abuse of our bodies. Our mind and our spirit can be abused under those circumstances. So I hope everyone gets a clear picture and understanding that you don't have to go through all these different extremes, and you only have to start your journey from where you are and just to your destination. Everyone don't want to be a size 2 or elite athlete or, doing it for vanity. Some people are doing it for health. Some people are doing it for other reasons. Whatever your choice is or whatever it is your reason for making the change to being healthy, to living this healthy lifestyle, to trying to grow as a person and get knowledge, get wisdom, get understanding. It may not be the total sticking point that keeps you doing that. With growth, with knowledge, with understanding, with a more clear picture, with getting closer to any goal, the belief in that you can reach those goals becomes stronger. So just start. There's a footage that a person said, and it's not a good one, but it's very true. There's a guy, he was going to prison. And he was like, man. And the judge said, you got 30 years. The dude fell out, man. And he told the judge, he's like, I can't do 30 years. The judge told him something that is very true and very hard for all of us to understand. The judge, when you're in situations or you can't change your circumstance, the judge told the guy, he said, just go there and start. The rest will come to you. And that's real. And that goes in any situation, be it good or be it bad. My name is Lamont Gilchrist. Thanks.